With new information on the next Grand Theft Auto installment coming very soon, a lot of the gaming community are revisiting previous Rockstar titles, but for others, they have decided to experience some of these games for the first time ever. The very popular Red Dead Redemption 2 released over 5 years ago, but from my comment section alone, I'm aware that people are experiencing this masterpiece for the very first time. So today, I've put together a beginner's guide for you all, specifically things that the tutorials in the game don't actually teach you. Even if you're a veteran of the title, you may just learn 1 or 2 new things today. There are 15 tips in total, with a bonus one for those who stick to the end. I'll keep the video as spoiler free as possible for you all, and so you're aware, all footage has been recorded from the moment the prologue ends and the open world begins. Chapter 2, Horseshoe Overlook. If you enjoy the following, you all know what to do, and if you're new here and not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. You're listening to Phil of Philby Gaming, and without further delay, let's begin with what we came here to see. Beginner tips that the game doesn't tell you. Just outside of the gang's first main camp of Horseshoe Overlook, there's a nearby abandoned town called Limpany, which has been destroyed by a fire. It's at this location I've marked on the map. When exploring the town, you may find a couple of useful items, but what you really want is located to the rear in the sheriff's office. If you search behind a desk near the doorway, you'll come across a lockbox. Inside, not only will you find a recipe allowing you to craft a special horse stimulant, but there's also a gold bar. Take the gold bar to any fence, such as this one in the south of Saint-Denis, and sell it for an incredible $500. A nice little financial start for your first playthrough. One of the first stranger missions Arthur can come across is in the town of Valentine, just a stone's throw away from camp. In the saloon, he will meet a writer who's attempting to produce a book about the legendary gunslinger Jim Boy Calloway. After a lengthy discussion, Arthur is tasked with tracking down a bunch of former shootists. What's helpful about this side quest for beginners is that 3 out of 4 of them have unique weaponry that can only be obtained once. After dealing with business, Arthur can grab these weapons for his own collection, doing away with the dull-looking cattleman revolver. If you're low on supplies or money and don't necessarily fancy a shootout quite yet, you can find hitched horses around towns. The majority of these animals are wearing saddlebags, to which their owners keep their possessions. Arthur can search these saddlebags, but my advice to the player would be to calm the horse first, maybe pat it to reassure it, otherwise it can become spooked and well, this will happen.
Evening.
The next one is very simple, but also very useful. The world of Red Dead Redemption 2 is huge, and players are going to need to use the in-game map to get around. Now, instead of going through the slow process of hitting the pause menu, then selecting the map option, plus when wanting to get back to playing after finding where you want to go, reversing the entire process, the player can simply press or hold just one button for instant access, then the same to return. On Xbox, it's the B button, on PlayStation it's circle, and on PC you just press the M button on your keyboard. Although the fishing pastime of the game isn't introduced until towards the end of Chapter 2, what many players may not have realised is that you can actually begin this activity much earlier. All you need to do is find an NPC fishing, such as this gentleman near Horseshoe Overlook, and deal with them as you see fit. They'll drop the fishing rod, allowing Arthur to retrieve it. Failing that, if you can't find anyone fishing, you can always revert to your bow and arrow to fish, using the Deadeye system to help you out. When out on the road, Arthur may spot smoke trails in the distance. These trails are indicators of small camps inhabited by normally just one person. It's worth inspecting these sites, as they normally contain provisions for the road. But be aware, most occupants don't take too kindly to strangers invading their personal space and may act hostile towards you.
Get lost. I'm straight out of hospitality. Just get out of here, damn it.
I ain't here to cause trouble.
When in combat, Arthur is going to want to avoid as much damage as possible. A good way to deal with this is to take cover, but if you're feeling brave enough, you can actually dive to avoid incoming fire as you progress towards your enemy. This is a handy feature to use if there's no cover nearby. To do this, when aiming your weapon, quickly hit the jump button and aim towards the direction you wish to go. On Xbox, it's the X button, on PlayStation it's the square button, and on PC it's the spacebar. After a long day of dodging bullets by diving, you will probably find Arthur is now covered head to toe in muck and grime. So how do we go about dealing with this? Head to the nearest bathhouse. The closest one to Horseshoe Overlook is the hotel situated in the town of Valentine. For a measly 25 cents, Arthur can not only both get himself and his clothing cleaned, but will also receive an increase in his stamina. When out exploring the world of Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur may come across NPCs that are in need of his assistance, such as this fellow just outside Valentine.
Help! Please! Anyone! Oh, Christ!
Hey, what's with the holler?
I got bit. Oh, God. Oh, I need medicine. Or a siphon.
Here, drink this.
Medicine? Oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, you saved my life. I owe you.
Got that right.
I do.
Helping them out can sometimes have its rewards. For example, just a day or two later, when visiting the local town, I bumped into him once again.
Oh, hey, friend. Remember me? I won't bite. Oh,
Hey.
hey, Wallace. This here's the kind soul I was telling you about. The one that gave you the medicine when the snake got you.
I guess so.
Listen, friend, I know I can never repay you, but how about you head over to the gunsmith and pick out your choice of item on my tab?
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, seemed like the least I could do, with him being sent straight from the Almighty to save my life.
Yeah, the Almighty.
Always a doubter you are.
I'm a man of this world, not the next one. Anyway.
From the catalogue, I was able to purchase the volcanic pistol for absolutely free. There are a few NPCs like this, so make sure to help out as many as you can. If you find yourself stuck out in the wilderness without a horse to take you anywhere, and you want to avoid a gun battle when robbing someone of theirs, there's an easier solution. If you happen to see a passing cart, you can call out to the driver and request a ride back to whichever town is closest to where they're heading. Not all may be as kind to a stranger such as yourself, but often you will find a warm-hearted citizen who's willing to help you out. Another small tip, but again a pretty useful one, is to find yourself a pocket watch. You'll normally come across these when out looting, or you can, like I did here, purchase one from one of the general stores around town. When you bring up the prompt informing you of your location and such, if you're wanted by the law, your bounty status will cover the current time indicator, but if you have a pocket watch, you can equip it in the selection screen, bring up your items wheel and select it from your right hand side. The camera will switch to first person, allowing the player to view the current time through Arthur's eyes. You will notice in the opening tutorials that Arthur is told to keep himself fed to maintain his cores, but there's more detail to this aspect of the game than you first may realise. Arthur's body weight can go both up and down, depending on whether he eats too much or not enough. If he's thinner, he'll move faster but won't be as strong, but if he's heavier, he'll move slightly slower but be more powerful. Also, depending on his size, will dictate how much damage he can actually sustain. Early on, the game does teach you to study animals before hunting them, which most people use binoculars to do so. Following this, after you're successful in studying your prey, you can quickly head to the game's compendium to learn more. From here, you can see exactly what weapon type is best used to preserve the current state of pelt, whether it be a 1, 2 or 3 star. But what do you do if you don't have the required weapon or ammunition? Well, luckily, there's another way to maintain the pelt. Equipping Arthur's lasso and using it to wrangle the animal, you can move in closer for a knife kill. This is a surefire way to keep the animal's quality the same. Around camp, Arthur can perform many chores, including chopping wood, refilling water, and carrying sacks of grain to Pearson's tent. Although a bit of a tedious task, they can be rewarding. Honour and character attributes can be increased by performing these chores, and the efforts you put in will be recognised by the gang, prompting them to put in more of an effort themselves. When at campfires, Arthur can enter the crafting menu and create multiple items for himself and his horse, but one thing that's handy is the ability to craft split point bullets. Not only does this not require any specific ingredients or anything, just Arthur's knife, but these bullets are both more powerful and accurate than the regular ones. Basically, you're upgrading your arsenal for free. Plus, you don't have to button mash neither, just keep hold of the crafting button. On a side note, these can also be created, as well as certain other items, when Arthur is on horseback using a mortar and pestle from the inventory wheel. With 15 on the list already, it's time for the bonus one. I've mentioned this in a previous video before, but in case you haven't seen it, I'll show you it once more. When at camp, if one of your cores is low and you find Pearson drinking at his workstation, you may be prompted to start the following conversation.
Mr. Pearson?
You all right there, Mr. Morgan?
Sure.
You look a little peaky.
Peaky.
Peaky? Tell you what, you find me a rabbit and I'll make you my special soup. Put the hair on your chest, get you feeling perfect.
I just need a rabbit?
It's my special rabbit soup. It's a work of art. I learned the recipe in the Indies. Riddled with scurvy I was then, one bowl. And I was fine.
Thank you.
The quality of rabbit doesn't matter, just make sure not to skin the animal. When bringing it back to camp, donate it to Pearson as you normally would, and you'll be rewarded with not only a small boost in your honor level, but a nice new denim scout jacket. So the tip here is that if you find you have a low core, just hang around the camp a little to see if you can trigger this interaction. I'm aware that some of you may have already been aware of these tips, but hopefully you learned something new today. The main intention of the video was to guide new players of Red Dead Redemption 2 on tips that the game doesn't actually provide you with. If you enjoyed today's content and wish to see more videos such as this one, remember to press that like button. Also, if you're new here and aren't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so, as we're almost at a huge milestone of 10,000 subscribers. On a side note, if crime documentaries are your cup of tea, I have recently launched a second non-gaming channel in which I tell the stories of real-life crimes that were committed. You'll find a link to shocking true crimes in the video description below, alongside any and all social medias you may need, including the channel's Instagram page, which you'll find on screen too. Thank you all for watching. You've been listening to Phil of Philby Gaming, and I'll see you in the next one.